Kia ora koutou katoa, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube page. Welcome to my other social platform pages as well. My name is Fire Phyllis Marie, and I am a healer, a tohunga, and a tohunga is very much the same as a shaman as well. Okay, today's video is going to be all about frequencies, and this is going to help you to shift energy, shift your vibration as you're going through your journaling and as you're going through dealing with all these emotions from past trauma or memories of old programming. And not only that, those emotions that were probably vibrating on a lower frequency from the first time, uh, pretty much after the first trauma or child trauma that you had received or had gone through many, many years ago. And from that moment on until this present time, there's a lot of clearing up to do on this journey, because there's a lot of stuff there that was influenced by your child trauma. So today we're going to talk about all those emotions and what they are and how they developed inside of you and your vibration and your frequency over the maybe 20 or 30 odd years for some people, or some people for the last 10 years, depending what your age was until you first met me and came to see me for the Sacred Child Healing. So anyway, we're going to talk about emotions. You know, when you start journaling after you remember that memory first thing in the morning, and those are the things that you have been dealing with, you know, in the past, waking up first thing in the morning, and, you know, just your thoughts go to pretty much trauma that has happened and trauma that may be interfering with your life and your day-to-day activities, especially emotionally. So when you write those things down, that memory, you can actually see it from a different point of view and from a higher consciousness after you have received your inner child or your soul retrieval. And this is the time when you start again, because you've rebirthed, okay, on a higher level now. It's almost like you're reliving, you're rebirthing, you're beginning again. You're being birthed into something a lot more stable and a more beautiful energy, vibration, frequency. It's almost like your consciousness has been here for so many years in the subconscious and into old programming, that now you get the chance to see it from a higher consciousness. And that's why you are journaling. That's why you are writing things down now, because you're describing the situation, the conflict, the hurt that you was created further down into your life until you came to see me. But and once you do that, then you have that bit of meditation of cutting those cords from those that may have brought you conflict and grief and pain by their own projections, about, you know, from their own trauma that they may be carrying, which could be the same as yours. Sometimes, and this is a frequency as well, we meet the same people that are on the same vibration as we are or you are at that time, okay? Like attracts like. So if you are feeling victimized, okay, or you are as between victim and survivor, you are going to attract those same frequencies that are vibrating through you. The same energies are going to come to you with the same problems. And, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. So when you're looking at each other, okay, two people that are vibrating the same energy on a lower frequency, on an emotional frequency, can you imagine the energies that are going on here? Yes, they may be feeling the same, they may be connected in some ways, but it can be quite dangerous as well, especially if there's still projections or there's still negative emotions, anger, jealousy, fury, all that sort of stuff still going on with each other. We can actually cause more conflict with the same vibrational people. Anyway, I'm just going to give you a lowdown on some of the stuff in my own experiences and the experiences of others as well. And understand frequency and vibration is very important to you in your healing at this stage, because everything in this universe is a frequency. Your emotions, your thoughts, your body, your consciousness, all of it vibrates. Every emotion carries a vibrational signature, not metaphorically, literally. Your emotional state changes the frequency your field emits, and that frequency shapes the reality you experience. When you're in fear, shame, guilt, or survival mode, your vibration becomes dense and heavy. And I pretty much know that, throughout my life, feeling frequencies, shifts, and energy, when our body is feeling it, especially if something comes up, a memory, a shameful memory, that's when, you know, things, those vibrations become and, end up in the lower frequencies, bringing more negative vibration into you because of those thoughts. Your field contracts and your intuition quietens and your body tightens. You move into reaction instead of creation. When you shift into love, peace, compassion, or gratitude, your frequency expands. Your field opens. Your consciousness rises. You become magnetic to clarity, alignment, and synchronicity. Yes. And it is so true that we should understand the frequencies and how they work, because you're able to use your energy to create magic. All right. This is why your emotional state is not just a feeling, it's a broadcast. It's almost like you have that antenna and you're sending out energy, a frequency through that antenna into the divine universe. Hello. Okay. What you project, you receive back. You know what I mean? It is a signal. It is a frequency transmission that interacts with the world around you, the divine universe. Your thoughts also carry frequency. A thought repeated becomes a pattern. A pattern becomes a belief. A belief becomes a vibration that your reality responds to. This is how consciousness works. You are not just experiencing reality, you are co-creating it through the frequencies that you hold. When you raise your emotional frequency, you raise your consciousness, okay? When you raise your consciousness, you shift your timeline. Absolutely. And that is what we're doing at the moment. It's our vibration, our frequency, changing the way we want things to become in our future, not on a lower vibration, but on a higher vibration. Because every time you choose a higher emotion, even for a moment, you recalibrate your field. This is why healing matters. This is why presence matters. This is why awareness matters. You open the door to a new version of yourself. You align with a higher frequency of reality. So today, tune into your emotions, feel what frequency you are broadcasting at this time. And remember, you're not stuck, you are vibrating. You are projecting energy from within you to externally outside of you. and vibration can always shift. Every emotion carries a frequency, as we mentioned before, and every memory carries a vibration. See what I mean about a memory? That's why it's time to journal. And every child who was hurt carries a field that learned to survive before it ever learned to feel safe. And I'm going to reiterate this, and I have mentioned it to many clients who are going through, who are treating, who are, healing their past. That we have been programmed, to feel a certain way because of the previous generations and what they knew and what they didn't know. And as much as we would like to have gone to get psychologists, counseling and this, that, and the other, especially in my generation, it wasn't there because we don't know a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about now, back then. And the way the system worked back then wasn't really knowledgeable of how they should treat it. What they were doing, they were treating pretty much nothing. And I'm going to say this because only from my own experiences, because every time I went to get counseling, continuously and repeatedly, I'd had to explain my story over and over again. And I think by the fourth counselor, the fourth different counselor, you never got the same one, you never got the same one ever. They were all different counselors. That's all you did. You just repeated your story over and over again. You were actually living your storm, your trauma, the dark part of the soul that occurred to you in childhood. There was no movement from there. After 4 appointments with these counselors, there was no action. What do I do from now? There wasn't. It was, oh, your time's up, and that was it. And it wasn't until later on in my life, probably from 40 years onwards, that I actually realized what was going on with me. But anyway, let's get on with the rest of this, and which will help you to understand and cope also with the next part of your healing. Like I mentioned, every emotion carries a frequency, every memory carries a vibration. And every child who was hurt carries a field that learned to survive before it ever learned to feel safe. There you go. When a child experiences trauma, abandonment, neglect, violence, sexual harm, emotional instability, their entire vibrational system shifts. The body contracts, the breath shortens, the nervous system learns to stay alert. The consciousness fragments to protect the innocent part of the soul. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's very hard to protect the consciousness of your soul, and I'm talking about the innocent part, all right? It's very hard not to, especially if you don't understand, what it means at a certain age. I mean, nowadays, our younger ones, I hope, know or have had a lot more experience and knowledge and wisdom about your innocence in the soul. And that comes from the parents, that comes from knowledgeable wisdom from religious people as well, okay? This is not weakness, this is survival. This is the brilliance of the human spirit. But the frequencies created in childhood do not disappear. They stay in the body as emotional imprints. Fear, shame, grief, hypervigilance, self-doubt, people-pleasing, or the belief that love must be earned. And, and some of these things may hit you, deep as I talk about it as well, but it's here to make you understand what you've actually gone through and what you've been carrying and what has been, what you've been carrying for this time. These emotions vibrate at lower frequencies, not because the person is broken, but because the child inside them is still holding the weight of what happened. When we talk about raising vibration, we are not talking about pretending to be positive. We are talking about releasing the trapped frequencies of a wounded child so the adult can finally breathe. Childhood trauma often creates fear, a vibration of contraction, shame, a vibration of invisibility, guilt, a vibration of self-blame, anger, a vibration of protection, grief, a vibration of loss, disassociation, a vibration of separation from the self. And I'm sure a lot of you out there can assimilate or, recognize this as well when you look deeper into yourself. A lot of people that come to me have no idea that this has happened to them and this has been going on until they actually hear what I'm trying to say to them. And then everything clicks, everything falls into place. These frequencies shape consciousness. They shape identity. They shape the timeline a person walks. But healing is not about reliving the trauma. Absolutely not. Healing is about retrieving the part of the soul that froze in time. And I would have to say, your innocence. It was there, locked away in a part, To me, it is in a safe place. Your soul, that part of your innocence, belongs to a higher consciousness. It belongs to Source, your creator. And it's your creator that protects it. When the sacred child is brought back into the present, gently, safely, with compassion, the vibration shifts. The field expands, the breath deepens, and the heart softens. The consciousness rises. Higher frequencies begin to return. Peace, the vibration of safety. Love, a vibration of truth. Compassion, the vibration of understanding. Forgiveness, the vibration of release and letting go. Sovereignty, oh, that's a beautiful one. The vibration of remembering who you are and also retrieving your birthright, who you really are, who you were supposed to be from the time of your birth. This is not spiritual bypassing either, that this is energetic restoration. When the child within is held, seen, and retrieved, the adult finally becomes whole. The frequency of the entire being recalibrates, and this is the truth. You are not healing because you are broken. You are healing because your soul is returning to its original vibration and frequency. The vibration before the trauma, before the fear, before the silence. Every time you choose a higher emotion, even for a moment, you shift your consciousness. You shift your vibration. You shift your timeline. You are not just surviving anymore. You are remembering. You are rising. And you are reclaiming the frequency of your true self. So there you go. When you retrieve your sacred child healing, you're retrieving that higher consciousness, that higher part of you. Like I mentioned, and I'll keep reminding you what it is. It's the sacred part of you. It's your innocence. It's the part that has been missing from you for a very long time. And because it had been separated or it was non-existent during your, after your trauma, It was non-existent to the point where after you retrieved it, everything came into one. Everything came into your back to you, building that oneness, coming back to consciousness, coming back to a rebirth, a new beginning, where you get the chance to start your life over again, and not with all that trauma back in your past, where you leave it in that past after all your journaling, after cutting the cords, letting go of the past, and that past becomes further and further away from you. It's like another timeline that you no longer wish to continue anymore, because you're raising your vibration, you're raising your consciousness, and like I mentioned, you're jumping onto a new timeline. And this year, 2026, that is exactly what a lot of people will be endeavoring or thinking about or starting right now over the next 9 years. It won't be just healing our past trauma. It'll be healing trauma from our past timelines as well, okay? So if you could remember that, instinctively, intuitively, the universe, the divine universe works in magical ways, where when we open our soul up, or when we bring that soul back together, okay, and during these changes, this new era that we are in, it is helping us to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and to acknowledge and to appreciate where our soul has been in previous lifetimes. It opens all of that up. And we get the chance, especially, to go back on our past timelines and heal. Because a lot of those timelines could have a lot to do with the trauma that we experienced and that manifested on this timeline that we were on before, of child trauma. And that could have come from other timelines. Other things that may come through, and if you do get memories of other past timelines, or have been in the last couple of years, it's like having a dream. And when you have this dream, you think, I've been here before. Why do I keep having the same dream? And it could be a different part of, part of history. It could be, in the 1940s. It could be in the 1800s. It could be way back during biblical times. It could be way back there, even before biblical times. It could be when the earth was just water, and we were just, going from ape to humans, when most of the world, could have been water, or could have been ice. It's amazing, amazing wisdoms that comes through during your healing of your child trauma, and your child, healing, journaling. As you go through all this healing part of you in this next stage after the sacred child healing, you get to learn so many wisdoms. And not only that, your intuition starts to become stronger and stronger. Your visions, the connections between you and other people, intuitively connecting like 5G. But this is 5D, the fifth dimension. As some people ask me, wow, Auntie Fire, you must be on 5D now. And I says, you don't stop at 5D. You can go further. And I think this is what we call this, healing on our timelines. I actually think that's 6D and 7D. And the more we learn about ourselves, the higher in consciousness we go into those higher levels, until we realize just how powerful our souls are and how powerful we are in this universe at this time, and what we can create to transmute these old frequencies that have been inhibiting our divine universe, that have been sick, full of grief, full of greed, full of anger, full of cruelty. This is how we can, as individuals, after healing all our past timelines or even just our child trauma, that we can actually contribute to bringing a higher vibration and consciousness to the Earth's frequency. Because at the moment, our frequency is very polluted, okay? It's got so much radioactive energy out there, telecommunications. It's got so much pollution out there in the air, in our oxygen, and even out in space. But coming back to frequencies of what you have experienced in the past since your child trauma, whether it be violence, abandonment, emotional disruptions on all levels, okay? Now you're coming into something really, really beautiful, life-changing, and very, very liberating. Understand your frequencies. Understand where you've been. Feel it. Because you're going to awaken it. You're going to have some breakthroughs. And you're going to learn not to hold that negative old frequency ever again. Because that inner child of yours, that higher consciousness, that innocence is part of your truth. And your truth is going to help you to heal yourself. And you're going to really, really, really shine that frequency of truth as well. From your soul, from your mind, and from your body. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that frequency report. It's amazing stuff. It's amazing wisdoms. And I wish you well on your journey. And you know where I am. You know how to contact me, okay? And please share this out to your friends or anyone that you know has gone through trauma themselves, okay? Share the love. Share this wisdoms from myself, my ancestors, and my angels, my guides, sending love out to you all. Take care, all right? And enjoy life and enjoy your journey of the inner child. Ka kite anō, everyone. You take care. Many blessings and tihe Māori ora to all of you from Uenuku, the rainbow. Ka kite.